Hi Capricorn, welcome to your general messages for February 1st through the 7th. So let's get right into things. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, guys, than my normal videos, just because I'm back at work and I have to find my feet in the semester. I'll go back to the longer versions, I promise. It normally takes me just a minute to reacclimate. I hope you guys are doing great today. So we're going to talk about the astrology for the first few minutes, then go into career, then go into relationship, okay? So as far as the astrology goes, there are just three main things that I want to discuss having to do with this week. First one, we're all talking about it, this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. Mercury goes retrograde all the time, but the reason why this one is so profound particularly is because it's happening in that house wherever we have the great conjunction, and the sun is going to be hanging out there. So there's a lot of energy that's going to be going on there. Venus is going to be hanging out in there as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on in that one house, right, wherever we have that Mercury retrograde. And you all know by this point, and for those of you that don't know, Mercury, the messenger of the god and goddesses, does represent the archetype of communication, connection, emails, text messages, internet, short distance travel, our siblings. It also has to do with business dealings, learning, because it rules Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury, so it's the third house. Everything that's in the third house. It also rules Virgo, which is the sixth house, which has to do with our day-to-day work environment, our mental, physical, emotional health, our small pets. It has to do just with our day-to-day experience, right? So Mercury's going to be retrograde in these areas. It doesn't mean that Mercury's going backwards or slows down. Goes backwards or stops. It means that he's just slowing down so that we can look at these areas a little more clearly to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's in an area that maybe needs some revision or maybe even some releasing, right? It does depend. Now, Capricorn, you guys are having Mercury retrograde and everybody else hanging out in your second house. So the second house is the house of finances, but moreover, things of value. So it has to do with your self-esteem, your self-respect, the roof over your head, the clothes on your back, and the food you put in your mouth. It's everything of value to you, to Capricorn, not to anybody else, but it's the money that you make, it's the clothes on your back, and it's the things that you value personally, okay? So we have that going on for you. So what that might look like is communications regarding financial situations may be a little challenged right now. It doesn't make it impossible by any stretch at all, but if you're going to be signing, and if you need to sign paperwork having to do with any sort of negotiation or business situation, just make sure that you read the fine print, think before you speak, just be super cautious, okay? That's all. It's the only thing I'm going to say. We have to live life. It's ridiculous to not just live life. But also, don't be too frustrated if you're waiting on a response to some sort of business situation, or it could even have to do with if you're waiting on the response to something having to do with maybe the purchase of something, of something that matters to you, right? Where there's going to be an exchange of money from you to somebody else. So it could be a home, anything like that that matters to you. There might be a slowing down, a need to revisit something having to do with that. That's how certainly it can end up manifesting. Communication throughout can be a little tricky in this energy. And when I say tricky, I just mean slower. So when we want things the way we want it, we have to just pull back and say, okay, everything is rolling out for a reason. Let's just pull it back and let things lie. Now, on January 30th to February 3rd, you do have the sun squaring Mars between your second and your fifth house. So everything I just said about, your money, things of value, all of that with your fifth house of creativity, of romance, of children. So this can manifest a bunch of different ways where there can be some tension having to do with maybe money that your kids need, right? Some of you may be dealing with paying that tuition bill right now, right? For those of you who have kids in school and college, right? This could have to do with money having to do between you and a romantic partner. Okay, where things could be quite tense. There could be some tension between the money that you have and your desire to push forward something creative where you want to start your own business. Because the fifth house is creativity. It's also an entrepreneurial energy. So it's like you love to do something and you love to do it so much that you end up deciding to make a business out of it, but maybe the money's not there and you're waiting on the money. So you're trying to navigate this energy. So the square is just remember what a square is. A square is a necessary tension in order to solve something. The sun equals focus. The square equals tension. The Mars equals what is the right thing for you, ultimately. Sometimes the right thing for us is not the thing that we might want in the moment. So there can be this frustration. There could be aggression here. There could be arguments with business partners and bosses. There could be arguments between you and a romantic partner. Arguments between you and your children. Now this could happen. Now it's not a long transit though. It's happening from the 3rd to the 30th to the 3rd. But it's going to pack a punch. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed, I always say. So if you find yourself in that, let cooler heads prevail, step away from any situation that you can, and just sort of step outside of the nasty weather of that energy, right? Okay, now on the 5th into the 6th, so you're going to have Saturn conjunct Venus, and again, it's going to all be happening in that 2nd house. So Saturn, right, all about karma and restriction and and you know, the need to look at something a little more closely, is going to try to be blending with Venus. Now, the tricky part here is when Saturn conjuncts an energy, a lot of times the shadow manifestation of that energy can rear its head. And the shadow manifestation of Venus can be manipulation, jealousy, ego, unfairness, right? Because Venus is about fairness and all of those beautiful things, right? But it's about extreme jealousy, really wanting to be considered the best in something, and feeling the strain of competition, you know, in some cases, or the strain of something not working. Now that could certainly be happening from that 5th into the 6th for many of you. All right. Now for others of you, where a lot of you are just going to be experiencing this as a reevaluation of partnerships, be it romantic or business. There might be some marital discord in this energy. This is definitely an energy, though, that indicates long-term romance. So even though there might be discord, and even though there might be a reevaluation, right, the fact that you have this in your 2nd house of things you value, I just feel like whatever it is that you're going through right now, because Venus doesn't only represent love, it represents money, as a lot of you know. So what I feel like, whatever stress or strain you're going to be going through on the 5th and the 6th, once you make it through it, it's going to be good. It's going to end up bringing you long-term benefit. Now, for those of you in a business situation, this energy can definitely bring a profitable relationship with somebody who's more experienced than you. This could also just be in general for all Capricorns, you getting some sort of benefit from somebody older than you. So this is a very good energy if you are single, to meet somebody who's much older than you, which is something that really resonates very strongly with Capricorns anyway. Because you are one sign, because you're ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is about age, right? It's Chronos. It's very common that either Capricorn yourself, or where we have our Capricorn placement, particularly if people who have Capricorn on their 7th house, will definitely gravitate more towards older energies, or at least old souls, that kind of stuff going on there. All right, so that's what we have for the astrology. So let's pull a couple of crowning energies. It's too many. 12th house, surrender. So the 12th house is the house of the subconscious. It's what you're feeling inside. It's everything that's right underneath the surface, but it's also the space where you might be feeling very unclear about things, right? Because this is a Neptune energy, and Neptune's trying to look at life through a dirty window, right? So it's about really kind of giving into something, that, you know, being very compassionate and being very forgiving about something. So a lot of karma in this energy as well. It's about looking at your stuff, looking at your baggage, really trying very hard to heal, deal with any sort of past guilt, past shame, past anything from the past. There's a lot of past energy that's here. Remember, the 12th house it's Pisces is the landlord, right? It's Neptune is the ruler. It's the oldest house. So it's everything in life is dumped into that house, right? For lack of a better way of putting it. So I do like this for you. Let me roll those because I wasn't focusing. All right, so we have the 5th house energy, we have Taurus, and we have the South Node. So Taurus is that 2nd house energy, which is where you guys have the great conjunction, right? Taurus is the landlord there. So this is really about looking at things that you value, but something, and again, money, right? It has to do with the 5th house here, right? This is literally, see, it's amazing how these things work out. This is literally like the, the sun squaring Mars energy, this Taurus in 5th house, but we have it with the South Node, which means that there's something very karmic that's happening in your life right now, but something needs to be released. Something needs to be released, Capricorn. Like, you might need to update the way you see something. You might need to release a way of thinking about something regarding either some sort of entrepreneurial effort, something in the romantic sector, something to do with your children. Okay. And then we have the Observer energy. Great advice card. Observing, meaning sitting back and just watching. Don't act right now. Great card to get for Mercury retrograde. Pay attention to everything. Pay attention to what people are saying, but more importantly, pay attention to how people are acting. And just observe. Try not to act on anything too assertively right now at all. Especially with the 12th house. This is a very sort of like sitting back and watching kind of energy. Because something is happening in your life right now. Something is shifting. It's very karmic. It's very necessary, and there's got to be a change. But you want to try to avoid it being a flippant change if you can. And it might be hard towards the end of the week. I mean, the energies could be a little trippy. All right, so let's first pull for your career. Now, this could be for career or any financial situation you have going on. So you might have a lawsuit going. This could have to do with an investment, buying a home, selling a home, anything in the stock market. Okay. Hopefully you didn't get caught up in this whole Reddit nonsense, or if you did in a good way. Go Main Street, right? Those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. If you follow the stock market, others of you don't pay attention to it. It's a bunch of nonsense. But anyway, so let's get into this. We have the 7 of Pentacles coming into this energy. Beautiful card to get for money, because this says 7 of Pentacles always indicates a new cycle in your life. And this is in the recent past. This is about patient hard work, delayed success, waiting, putting in your effort in something new that you're doing, putting in the hard work of something, but it going really beautifully, right? The 7s are where the 4 of the world and the 3 of the Trinity meet, so I always consider it to be where like heaven comes down to earth to incite a beautiful new cycle. Again, lots of karma going on here. Very karmic energy I'm getting. So we have the 4 of Pentacles as the foundation right now, having to do with money. I get it, right? This is being very careful, watching your money, very concerned about your long-term security. You have a strong desire for it. You want to make sure you do the right thing. So we have this working with the 2 of Cups energy. But the 2 of Cups, yeah, no, this was upright. Okay, good. The 2 of Cups energy, a new proposal coming in. Beautiful. So this could be a new business partner. This could be a new job offer. This could be somebody giving you an offer on buying a home, selling a home, buying a business, selling a business, anything like that. Some sort of offer coming in having to do with money. So it would have to do with an offering on a lawsuit, something coming to fruition in that way. So we have this working with the 2 of Swords as the crowning. It's time to compromise and make a decision. Right? The 2 of Swords is being across purposes with yourself. It's a Moon and Libra energy, and the Moon is all about emotions, and you're very much in a space of trying to figure out what's fair, what's not fair, what's the right thing to do, right? Whenever we have this Moon energy as well, you always want to remember, it's like you might be in this space of trying to figure out because the swords are thoughts, right? So we want to know, what are we thinking here, right? So you might be in this space where it's like, I don't know, is this goal worth the money and the effort that I'm putting into it? There could be emotions running high with people at work where you feel like you need to protect yourself from negativity. You just don't want to live for a paycheck anymore. Even if your money is stable, you want more satisfaction out of something. So you're in this position where it's like, I don't know, do I stay for the money? Do I leave? What do I do? Which of these is going to ultimately bring me the most satisfaction? But so you're at this cross purposes, but it's time to compromise and it's time to make a decision. So look at this. We have the Two of Pentacles as the foundation, which is about two choices and needing to weigh out the options of a situation. Now, you right now with the Five of Pentacles. Now, I get it, right? I mean, you're a Capricorn, you're a Pentacle energy, first of all, and so you're worried. You're very worried here. Some of you may have very much like a poverty mindset. Some of you may be literally dealing with financial loss. Some of you may be feeling very isolated, within your career about a money situation, feeling very misunderstood, feeling very disconnected from a situation as well for some of you. But it's definitely this sense of lack, feeling this sense of lack right now. Now, an energy external to you that's impacting you is the Queen of Cups. And I like this energy, well, especially for those of you who are trying to sell a home, because this literally is like the house selling energy. Because in astrology, the Queen of Cups is Gemini and Cancer. So Gemini being not only about communication, but Gemini being the landlord of the third house is about business dealings, right? And Cancer is home. So this is somebody like, offering you something, but maybe you don't like the offer, right? With the Five of Pentacles, maybe you are afraid that it's not enough. Especially if it's some sort of like settlement kind of thing, right? If it's like a divorce settlement. Some of you may be in the space where it's like, I don't know if that's like really, jiving with me. Now, if it doesn't have anything to do with that, Gemini is about conversation and Cancer is about at least the metaphorical home space, right? What you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure, right? And it's through that very conversation that you're going to be able to feel a lot of support and very nurtured. And that's how it will ultimately end up impacting you. So I think it's ultimately a good thing. It might not seem like it initially, though. Now, let's look at your hope and your fear is the Six of Cups. So you may be hoping to go back to a job or hoping to revive a project that maybe you started going at one time. For some of you, you may be hoping to maybe save a marriage, if this has to do with a divorce, where you're feeling very nostalgic about something and you're missing something. But at the same time, you're afraid of that. You're afraid of the idea. You're afraid of going back to something from the past. Some of you may be thinking about wanting to go back to a job that you had at one point, but you're scared to go back to it. And however it would resonate with you, it's this hearkening back to the past, you wanting it, but yet being scared of it at the same time. And this is in your hope and your fear, though. So this is very internal. This is not actually out in the 3D. So we have the High Priestess energy here as the near future. And when it comes to career, this is about being patient. Success is coming, but something needs time to mature or needs to be nurtured and figured out. So there might be some sort of further discussions that are needed. Remember, this is only for the first week, but this is ultimately a good energy. It certainly is. When the success is coming. So this is going to have a good outcome for you. All right, but now let's look at the near future. We do have the Hermit. The Hermit is a Virgo energy. So it's time to step back and analyze what's not working here. You might feel like it's time to try a different approach or path. Somebody may be really helpful for you at this time. So again, going back to the fact that we have Saturn conjunct Venus, you may be getting some help from some sort of mentor, a new lawyer, some sort of new associate, somebody who can offer you some clarity in a situation that that you're needing, okay? But the thing is, with the Hermit energy, keep in mind that the Hermit is Virgo, and Virgo is the landlord of the 6th house, and the 6th house is a house of problems that we have to solve. right? That's why it's the house of the day-to-day, of work environment, of our health, right? There's a lot going on in the 6th house. So, but even though it's the house of problems, it's the house of solving problems. That's why it's Hermit is the Virgo. What does the Hermit want to do? He wants to go to the top of the mountain in order to go within for clarity and go on this quest for problem solving and solutions. So I definitely see solutions happening in some sort of financial situation that you are going to be dealing with. But it does look like an offer is going to be coming in, but you're going to need to make a decision on what you want. All right, so now let's go into relationship. So this is for all relationship, and I'm just going to be pulling one single Celtic cross. And I usually pull 2 for you and person that you're dealing with, but I hope you forgive me for the week. Sorry for the pause. I'm just thinking so we have first the 8 of Swords energy coming into this. So this is about feeling very sort of isolated and alone in something, feeling like something doesn't fit anymore. And typically Capricorn, to be honest, this typically for whoever gets this in their reading, it's usually that energy has outgrown something. Oh, but it's not easily recognized, right? Because changes so slowly happen over time, right? It's very hard to recognize them as, from day to day and week to week. But this is like something not feeling right for you that initially felt right. Now, this could be you or the energy that you're dealing with. Anything that I interpret here could be you or the energy that you're dealing with. It's how, particularly doing energy work, it's always like that with relationships. We offer the energy that is available. So we have this with the 4 of Cups. So for those of you, now, some of you may be feeling really uncomfortable about being single. Like you feel very ready for a relationship, right? I mean, now with the 4 of Cups, this is the thing with the 4 of Cups energy when it comes to relationships. If you're single, you might still be hurting over something from the past, even though you may not want to admit it or you may not want to really recognize it. Some sort of something happened in the past that you're now totally over, so much so that you've created this checklist for yourself, and it's like, this next person can't have that and that and this and this, and it will never work if these things happen, to the point where even if the most fabulous person came along for you, you probably wouldn't recognize them, because you're very focused on micromanaging the pain of something in the past and really being hell-bent on not making sure you manifest that for yourself moving forward, right? Totally understandable, but you don't want to end up blocking something that could be there. So, if you find yourself in that space, definitely try to look at what might be blocking you and really try to focus on just at least addressing that in some way. For those of you who are in a relationship, the 4 of Cups can absolutely indicate some boredom here, some apathy, some feeling unfulfilled. Some romance needs to be, put back in. But a lot of you might be like, yeah, but no, I don't want to, or I don't know how to do that, or I don't know, how to even approach that at this point. So a lot of you can be in a different space regarding that. So we have this working with the 10 of Wands, which is the card of overwhelm. So, with the 4 of Cups and the card of overwhelm, I have to tell you what I'm getting here. For some of you, either you or your partner may be really overwhelmed about some sort of situation at work or a family circumstance that's going on, and feel really overwhelmed and feel very, very busy and not focusing on the relationship anymore, where it's something else in life has taken precedence over focusing on the relationship because it needs to right now, right? This is very much like a catch-22 energy, the 10 of Wands. It's like, even when you have to make a change, maybe you don't have the time to actually do it. Like, let's say you're so busy at work that it's costing you in the rest of your life, right? Including your relationship. But it's like you don't have enough time to actually look for a new job because you're so busy at your work and with the rest of your life. That's what I mean by catch-22. And it's like if somebody comes along and says, well, Capricorn, why don't you just, hand off some responsibility to somebody else? Capricorns have a very hard time doing that. Very hard time. The archetype. I can't speak to whatever else is in your chart. You may have other transits and things in your chart that would indicate you not being like that. But the archetype of Capricorn has a very hard time passing responsibility off, because a lot of times there's this mindset where it's like, I'm the only one who could really do this, or nobody could do it like I can. And it's more like of an efficiency thing rather than it having any malice attached to it or egotism. It's not about that at all. It's just like, yeah, but if they do it, I'm probably going to have to do it twice, right? So that kind of thing, okay? But regardless, it is the card of overwhelm. It is this energy of stress, exhaustion, burden, just being really burdened. So to have the burden energy with the Four of Cups, again, it could be like just energy scattered everywhere, but not focused on the relationship in the way that it might need. And the relationships can absolutely suffer because of that. And you don't want it to end up being a situation where you end up staying in a circumstance out of habit and because it's easier than it is to address the situations that you see inherently are issues right now in the relationship. Now, we have the Six of Cups in the crowning energy. Okay. So the Six of Cups is feeling very nostalgic. It's also a reunion energy. So now for some of you, having to do with relationship, this can have to do with you having the opportunity to reconnect with somebody from your past. You need to decide whether you want to do it or not. It's up to you. This doesn't mean that somebody's going to come back and make you get back with them. That's ridiculous, right? But the energy may present itself where something cycles back from the past, which can happen in Mercury retrograde, more so than in any other energy, right? So it could be that. For others of you, you may find yourself in the space of nostalgia regarding the earlier, more innocent times in your marriage or your relationship if you've been together a long time, and you're definitely feeling the pain of the distance that you're feeling if you're in a long-term relationship, and that lack of kind of thing. It's like, well, infuse romance into it. It's like, yeah, but I don't even know if I really even want to. I don't know, like that just sounds like a lot of work kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, and it's this thing, it's like you want it, but then something might be blocking you and getting in your way, and maybe it's because your partner doesn't seem as interested. These things can be going on, but there could also be, for some of you, general message. So I want to give different interpretations. Somebody coming back from the past. So we got the Queen of Wands working in the foundation. So definitely very confident, very self-assured energy. Remember, Queen is all about connection. Right? So the Queen of Wands energy is a Pisces and Aries. So Pisces is all about that dream space. It's very ethereal kind of energy, right? And Aries is about a fresh path and a new perspective. So there's this element of creativity, right? And passion with Pisces. But Aries is also, but emotion, right? And then Aries is this passion. It's like this fire. Come on, let's go. So you could certainly be feeling this passion for somebody from the past, or you could be feeling this passion brewing inside of you that you want back in the relationship, and you feel very frustrated about not having it, and it's not a comfortable energy for you. And I feel like you're going to want to have the conversation here, Capricorn, because the King of Cups is a great energy. And I like to give the astrology definition of this, right? Because I feel like it's a lot more helpful than just saying the King of Cups is the king of emotions and he's empathetic and supportive, right? What does that even mean, right? So in astrology, King of Cups is Libra and Scorpio. Okay, so Libra is the 7th house, is the landlord of the 7th house of partnerships. It's ruled by Venus. Venus has to do with feeling good and feeling really confident and feeling loved and things being equitable financially even, right, in relationship. That's that Libra 7th house energy. That's why the glyph is the scales for Libra. How's everybody feeling? Is everybody feeling good in this? And it's end Scorpio. Scorpio is the landlord of the 8th house, which has to do with endings and beginnings, the need for transformation, the need to address something from the past and make change. Something has to, like, there needs to be the ending of an unhealthy cycle and the beginning of a brand new cycle within this partnership connection. So this is you right now. You saying, if this is going to work, if we're going to have any chance at really working in the long term, we need to have a King of Cups conversation, because it's as a result of this that we're going to be able to better understand each other and be able to, develop a new sense of tolerance and a new kind of empathy that's necessary in order to feel connected again. Now, the energy that's external to you, that's impacting you, is the Lover's energy. You might be dealing with a Gemini. Okay. Now, for those of you who happen to be single, this does indicate loving yourself first, to release any blocks so that you can manifest a really good relationship right now, when the time is right, whenever you're ready. But for those of you who are partnered, a love decision is needed, right? And so you're dealing with an energy who's very mindful of this. Are you both equally willing to work on the foundation of the connection? And the thing is, if you're in a complicated situation, you really need to look at the patterns in this and maybe even previous relationships and figure out what your current situation or any perspective. I mean, if you're going back to somebody from the past, any kind of new partner, what can be offered that's more fulfilling in the long run here, right? What's more fulfilling if this happens to be like this new energy, right? This is what they're feeling. It's going to be impacting you. Now, for those of you who are just sort of in the space of missing the earlier point in your relationship, this is a good conversation no matter how we slice it. We love this. To have the King of Cups with the Lover's energy, everybody is trying their damnedest to get on the same page, which is really nice. Now, what is your hope and fear? We have the King of Cups. Nothing to be afraid of with this, right? The King of Wands, rather. Did I say the King of Cups? The King of Wands energy is beautiful energy. In astrology, it's Cancer and Leo. I mean, this is about fire and safety in the same breath. This is incredible attraction, but feeling a very strong foundation. So there's nothing to be scared of here. This should just be what you're hoping for. But I know some of you maybe be a little afraid of allowing yourself to go there, right? Because you've been hurt in the past. It could certainly be that, completely letting yourself go. But try not to let that get in your way, because thoughts become things at a certain point, right? Okay, so then we have the Two of Swords here in the near future. So you're having this conversation. We have the Two of Swords. It's time to compromise. It's time to make a decision. So you're having the conversation. Whatever the result is, there's got to be this sort of decision made. But then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse as the final outcome, which does indicate a false start, delay. For some, this could even be rejection. Yeah, I mean, there could be some, this could indicate a serious delay. So, and I want to give the different interpretations of this, because for those of you who are in a very long-term relationship, nobody's going anywhere. You have this fabulous conversation. You have this meeting of the minds. And you have all of these things that you have in your mind that you want to do. But it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, we're going to spice up our sex life, right? We're going to start whatever it is, fill in the blank, dressing up for each other, having carpet picnics, whatever, leaving each other love notes and all of that. And yeah, that's what we need more of, right? We need more of that. And then it's like, yeah, but it's almost like a process to get back to that energy, right? Now, I'm going to give some unsolicited advice here. If that's the space that you're in, do it even though you feel uncomfortable. The payoff is worth it. Even if you don't feel very in the energy, if you're writing a little love note or whatever you're doing in the bedroom, whatever it is, do it anyway, because you may find that you feel really good after it. It ends up being a very good thing. For those of you who are getting back with somebody from the past, right? There may be a delay because of COVID. There may be a delay in that you guys may not actually be able to be together in the 3D just yet. That is how this could certainly play out. So it's just it's this delay, and it's this false start, right? But I wouldn't give up hope on it, because there's so much good energy here, and it's only for the week, and it's a weird week. I did indicate the astrology, so let's see how this turns out. But I actually don't think this is a bad reading. I just feel like it's a tired reading, right? Where you guys are tired and maybe not being the best versions of yourself in the relationship right now. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.